We're here today at Bank of Dudley to discuss business loans. So many businesses and industries trust the Bank of Dudley for a variety of financing alternatives to suit your specific needs, from short-term loans to help with cash flow, loans to purchase equipment or facilities. At Bank of Dudley, we have commercial mortgage loans, capital improvement loans for construction or renovation. We can help with your business vehicle loans or for a small business line of credit. In other words, Bank of Dudley has your business covered. No matter what it is, you can trust the lenders at the Bank of Dudley with 5 convenient locations: East Dublin, downtown Dublin, Veterans Boulevard, Dudley, and Jeffersonville. The Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Hello everybody and welcome. I'm glad to have with me today Sam Bell. He is the president and CEO of the Bank of Dudley. And Sam, I want to talk to you some about the bank, but a lot about this process. As everybody sees riding downtown, what a beautiful bank this is. It's always been a beautiful bank, but it's turned into a gorgeous bank, and I know it's something you're proud of.
We are. Something we've been thinking about for a long time, and actually looked at the potential of moving from downtown and purchasing a building a couple of blocks from here. And once we weighed all the pros and cons, our heart and our desire was to stay downtown, be the downtown bank right here on the corner. And so we made the decision about 2.5 years ago to start this project. Our board was behind us. Our owners were behind us, and we're really glad that we made that decision at this point.
Really nice, and you're going to be watching, as the time Sam and I talk, some before and after pictures. I want to thank Sam and the staff here letting me come in, and Dublin Construction letting me get in the way some, Sam, but I think everything's been changed in this bank except the vault.
That's right. One thing in the banking business you don't want to alter is the vault. That's a pretty big, that's a monumental task. And so, no, we didn't move the vault. It's in the same place. And people walk in and it takes them a moment or two to get oriented as to where they are in the building.
Yeah. And as we look from the corner up here first, we're looking at some footage now. They're all tearing the marble down, Sam, and it just changed the whole look of the bank, because it's been that way as long as I can remember, the marble on the corner, and they dug everything out. The whole lobby's changed around, got a nice, beautiful lobby. But tell me what went into the plans. I know you talked about the 13-month process, but you talking about 2.5 years of actually talking about it, getting the plans drew up and all that, right?
It is, and it starts really the year or two before you actually plan on breaking ground, or in this case, bringing out the jackhammer. It's not a shovel, it's a jackhammer is what we started with. It starts with a budget process and just, seeing what kind of year you had the year before and what kind of year you're projecting for the future. And we actually started this project, and I made sure I knew this date or this day. This project started on Tuesday after Labor Day 2016. So it's actually been about a 15-month project.
Wow. Sam, I was thinking about yesterday, you and I talked the day before yesterday, but we grew up with a downtown. Our generation, we went to school together and we're the same age, but we grew up in a time where you came downtown. And downtown Dublin skipped a generation as I see it, because the last generation, our downtown had depleted and there really wasn't anything here. The malls were making a splash all across the country and here in Dublin also. But, we did everything downtown. We ate hamburgers, we shopped at Dunn's department store, we went to the Martin Theater, we spent time downtown. But you've invested highly in downtown. So obviously the bank sees a bright future for downtown Dublin.
Oh, we do. And quite honestly with you and the viewers, and 10 years ago, I was skeptical.
Yeah.
I really was. But, and I got to go back to what you just said about when we were growing up downtown. You know, that I remember several things about downtown, but two of the places that I always went if I came to town, and remember, when I was growing up, we didn't leave Bruton and
That's
come
right.
to town but about once a week at the most. And the two places I went was the original old dime store,
Oh, yeah.
Woolworth Woolco.
Yeah.
It had plank flooring. It was just up the street from us on the left. And the other place that a lot of people don't know that was downtown was Hobbs Sporting Goods, was
Yeah.
just past us, just past the Thompson building right here about where Jackson Square. If I came to town, I was going to the dime store and Hobbs Sporting Goods.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was hard for me to have the vision of what downtown was going to actually be. And you see Milledgeville, you know, they did a great job with their downtown, and several other towns in Georgia. Milledgeville, I'm saying, because of their location to us and their size proximity to us. And I went up there and I looked at it, and I had been approached about doing some financing on some buildings down here, and I couldn't get past the fact that we didn't have a downtown college. We didn't have the influx of students and that dollar that those students spend in Milledgeville here in Dublin. And so I was reluctant 10 years ago to think that this would happen, but due to a lot of work on a lot of people, the Downtown Development Authority, I think Joshua Kite and several other people like that this has really worked.
Yeah, it absolutely has, and we've got those college students. We had to bring in more parking, and it's fun for me to see as I'm around town all day, the backpacks on the kids
Yep.
headed to class, and being in the skyscraper as much as I am. I never saw that, Sam. I never thought that building would be anything. In my mind, my little minute mind, I never saw, you know, that building. Why is it still there? It's never going to be nothing. But going back to so many people, I hate to start calling names, but so many people made that possible. And look what we got now. That building is absolutely beautiful.
Oh, it's known as the skyscraper of Dublin, and that was, you know, we joined hands with another bank and an out-of-town investor, and that building came to fruition because of some tax credits and some historical tax credits and some things that just any investor could not have made that work. And it was a joint effort on the city, the county, and again, a couple of local banks that went together on that project.
Yeah, and Garvey Construction did a wonderful job.
Their ability to preserve a historical building and keep it, and you have to keep it very close to the original structure. There's a lot of things that have to be done a certain way in order to qualify for those historical tax credits. And Charlie and his staff do a wonderful job of that. They're right now doing the Fox Theater in Atlanta.
Yeah.
So they're not. It's almost not a contracting job. It's almost an art job. What they do with those old buildings.
And great engineers. He's just got a wonderful company there. But before we talk about the ribbon cutting all today, but you've been in banking for 38 years. Tell me, over those 38 years, what's the biggest change you've seen in banking?
Compliance and regulation. Just unequivocally, compliance and regulation. The Dodd-Frank that was born out of the recession that we all went through in 8, 9, and 10, the pendulum had swung too far to the right. It was too easy. Real estate loans and being able to purchase real estate and real estate credit was too easy. But it swung far, far too far back to the left. And we've been fighting that ever since, and it's a tough thing, and we've had to re-educate our customers. We've had to hire more staff. We've had to hire professionals in the compliance field, and you get a lot of those professionals from the CPA firms. They have that background, and it's cost a lot of community banks a lot of money to hire the professionals that you have to come in here and retrain your staff. And you've had to centralize some things as far as closing of real estate loans. It's unequivocally the biggest change in banking has been regulations and compliance.
But most community banks, there are some exceptions, but banks like Bank of Dudley never did those kind of loans anyway. You know, a good community bank, you bank with the person. I realize that it's not always a credit score, but you bank with that person. But still, wasn't banks like Bank of Dudley, aren't you being penalized for something that you really wasn't doing wrong?
Oh, absolutely. When our people in Washington write regulations and rules, and they paint that with a pretty wide paintbrush.
Yeah.
And we weren't involved in a lot of that. We went through a little downturn. Certainly every bank did, but we don't go way to the right nor way to the left. We stay pretty much in the center of the road. So you're right. We've been over-regulated based on some things that Wall Street and some large banks did.
Yeah. And what hadn't changed in the banking over these 38 years?
Banking is a relationship.
Yeah.
If you get good customer service and you form a relationship with your customer, they'll come back to see you. It's easier to bank in Dublin than it is probably anywhere in the state because we have so many good community banks. A lot of people, and me included, would say Dublin's overbanked. We have a lot of choices. The competition's tough. But a $20 bill at the Bank of Dudley is the same as a $20 bill down the street at any other bank. It's the relationship you form with your customer, and it boils down to your people giving good customer service.
I hear a lot of people say, you made me think of that. I hear it every week. People say, we just need one more bank. We just need one more bank in Dublin, and I guess you agree with that.
I do not agree with that.
I was being sarcastic, but as they were. But let's take a quick break and come back. We're having our ribbon cutting today, and we want to talk about that in just a moment. Stay with us. At Bank of Dudley, we understand that buying a new home is a time of many decisions, and we're here to help and answer all of your questions that might arise during the mortgage loan process. Our mortgage professionals, Shirley Clements and Sherry Adderhall, have over 75 years of combined mortgage experience, backed by a bank that has served this community since 1905. Call or come by and visit with Sherry or Shirley at our Veterans Boulevard branch, or go online at bankofdudley.com and get started today. Bank of Dudley, creating a custom mortgage experience with competitive rates and terms is what service is all about. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender. Welcome back, everybody. It is ribbon cutting day. These last 2.5 years, 3 years of planning, 15 months of tearing everything apart, and every time I come in, Sam, it seemed like you was moved to a different office, and you was in some holes in the wall, literally, during this. I can't call it a remodeling job. It was a total reconstruction, I guess.
Yes, I've been moved around a good bit, but I'm back in my original office. Nothing much has changed in my office other than paint and carpet. We did put in a couple of windows, and I moved my office furniture from one side to the other so I could have a little better view out the door. But I'm back in my original location, and I'm happy to be here.
Well, y'all are watching us now. We're getting ready to cut the ribbon. It's about to be cut here any moment, but I know it's been a long time coming. Before we go, Sam, you got great employees. Let's brag on them.
We do. We've hired more people this year than I can ever remember. We've had some people retire, some people move, some people go out on medical issues, and we've hired the most people. And the one thing that I try to stress to each one of them as I talk to them when they come in, and we usually go to lunch with that person the first day they're here, is that this is the Bank of Dudley family. And I give them my business card, I give them my home phone number, and I give them my cell number. And I want that to give them the feeling that they're part of the family and that they can call me anytime. And we do have great employees. We've got Cliff Cruz has been here 45 plus years. Mm-hmm. You just don't have people that stay with you that long. And we've got a lot of people that's been here 20 plus years. So we have a great staff. This building's for the community, and it's for our customers. It's showing our support for downtown Dublin, but it's also for our employees, because it is a nice environment to work in. It's made it much more efficient for them to wait on customers, much more comfortable, and they're really enjoying this.
Last question, what's the most fun part of your day?
The most fun part of my day, any banking day, is when you're able to help someone. You know, we can all as bankers make that easy decision. Mm-hmm. On the A+ credit quality customer, or okay in that account where somebody's bringing $1 million deposit to you. You know, those are easy to make. The best part of being a community banker, the best part of my day, is when you can help someone that's in a marginal situation and it turns out positive, whether it be a young couple's buying their first home, or you know, I look back over the years, I've had loans for $1,500 so someone could adopt a child. You know, those things I don't ever forget.
Yeah, those are the good things. Well, Sam, I appreciate it. We appreciate what you do, not only through the bank, but you're very involved in the community. Dublin Exchange Club, y'all do such good work. And I was thinking a while ago, as you was talking about coming to town from Bruton, well, you had connections at the store in Bruton, so you know, you could probably get a little credit there, couldn't you?
I had a little credit, I did. My granddaddy let me have a little credit. And one of my first enterprises was he would give me peanuts out of the barn and behind the store, and I'd clean them up. These were dried peanuts that we had grown on the farm, and then I'd take them to either to my mother's or my grandmother's, and they would help me parch them. We'd put them in the little, I'd put them then in the little brown paper bags, staple them up, and write the price. It was either 15 cents or a dime, maybe a quarter a bag, with a black wax pencil. If you remember old grocery stores, we didn't have the things like Piggly Wiggly with the stamps. We had black wax pens, and I'd write 25%, and I'd literally peddle those parched peanuts to anybody that came to the store. So yeah, I learned a lot at Bell and Sons Grocery in Bruton.
And I bet you he made you save the money, didn't he?
Yeah. Somebody asked me about, you know, how I got into banking. Well, I learned a little bit about credit and money at Bell and Sons Grocery working there. Because I worked for my dad, my Uncle Curtis, and my grandfather there and on the farm. And talking about saving money, yeah, I made $85 a week, and this was working farm work from daylight till dark. And my dad would make me come to town with him. He would bring me to town with him on Wednesday afternoon, and I'd have to deposit most of that in a savings account at Farmers and Merchants Bank with Margaret Hall.
Wow.
So, yeah, he believed in savings.
Oh, I knew he did. I knew the answer to that one. Let's take a quick break and come back. Stay with us. At Bank of Dudley, we want to help with all your lending needs. Whether you're thinking of buying a new car, remodeling your home, or just want to go on vacation, let one of the many lenders at a Bank of Dudley branch near you help realize your dreams. Bank of Dudley, we're big enough to offer the great services you need, but small enough to make sure you can talk to someone you trust. Bank of Dudley with 5 convenient locations: East Dublin, downtown Dublin, and Veterans Boulevard, Dudley, and Jeffersonville. Bank of Dudley, member FDIC, and an equal housing lender.
If you understand this layout here, and some of you do, but this is actually 4 buildings that we've acquired over time. In 1988, we did not have Tara Bradshaw pushing things along downtown, but we had Mr. Thomas Curry. Got a call from Thomas Curry one day, and of course we were operating there in Dudley, and he says, y'all need to open a bank in downtown Dublin, and I've got the location for you. And he was talking about this actual building right here. If you look right here down through where those pillars are, that was the original building there. And part of CNS at one time. And the thing that made it unique was there was a vault here actually in the second building. So, you know, the rest is history. That was 1988. I think we opened somewhere in early 1989, came in and remodeled, and I did it a lot cheaper than y'all did all this, Sam. And remodeled, got the vault, called on our friends at Dublin Construction because the vault opening was in the wrong location for us. Had to plug up a hole and cut another hole. And I think that was like, might have been 30-inch concrete wall with rebar and all that. But anyway, as always, they performed, did the job well, and we opened up. And then we rocked along to about 1992. Mr. Curry called one day and he said, the building next door, it actually houses the vault. I want to sell it. And so we had to decide whether we wanted to buy it or build another vault. We bought the building with anticipation of selling that building and just using the vault area. And so we rocked on there and tried to sell it. And, you know, nobody came along. And then one day I got a call from Miss Sue Williams, who was the librarian at the Lawrence County Library. Said, you know, we're fixing to do a remodeling and we need to move out of the building, library building. Would the Bank of Dudley let us use that building next door to you? And so the board agreed, and we let the library use that building for a year. And like I said, we had tried to sell it, had no use for it, anything like that. And then before that year was out, I was calling Sue, said, when can you get out of the building? We've had growth, we need that building. And so they moved out, we remodeled. Our mortgage originators moved in that area. Over time, we moved the loan department in that area and moved on. And then about 2001, we bought the third building, which was, of course, the second building was at one time was part of the CNS Bank also. And then the third building we bought in 1992, and it was old shoe store at one time, various other things over the years. And we bought that building, remodeled the upstairs. 2003, we moved the loan department downtown. And again, continued growth, support of the community, everything just continued to grow. So, and like I said, that was in 2003 that bookkeeping moved upstairs. So, and then fast forward to 2016 when Scott Thompson graciously considered selling us the, we call it Thompsonville. Now, when we first started, we kept saying, everybody kept saying Scott Thompsonville, Scottsville, and I called time out one day and I said, I saw the check, we paid him for it, it's our building. So I said, let's call it the Thompson Building, so we'll know which one. So we call it the Thompson Building now. So, and that was, you know, Scott agreed to sell it to us, and we very much appreciate that. So here we are, you know, all these years later, continue to grow. Community's been good to us, and we certainly appreciate that. And thank you, everybody, for coming today.
Jimmy Everett Brothers Plumbing, David Williams Ceramic Tile, Billy Brown Interiors. I know Mr. Billy's back there in the back. He's been here late at night, early in the morning, and all through the day. And if you really like the way some of these interiors look and the paintings and the finishing touches, just tell him thank you. Wally Paget, Ken Parker, Billy Oliver Painting. They lived with us for a long time. They painted over, around us, between us, under desks. They were painting yesterday afternoon when we closed. Terry and Gary Jones, Dublin Glass. Kelly Thigpen, Acoustical Ceilings. Jimmy Garrett, the Teller Line, did a great job with the granite here. Trey Oliver with the greenscapes. ACS Cleaning Services, Paul Griggs. They've had to clean up more things that we've messed up right behind them being repaired and fixing, and they were here when I left last night about 9 o'clock. We got some others: Pruitt Heating and Air, Willie Lamar Masonry, Jeff Terry Walls, Elite Flooring, Willingham and Sash, Wright Wall, Drywall, and CBSI. We've had, this has been a huge effort, and when you think about not just the investment we've made in the building and paying for the labor and materials, there was a lot of jobs that have been, a lot of paychecks that have gone home between the general contractor and the subs over the last 466 days. It's sustained a lot of families. So, and if you listen to some of the economists, if those folks live here in Dublin, some of that money circulates 7 times when you consider all the things that they buy and purchase, like electricity and homes and cars and suits and ties and whatever, four-wheelers and cars and trucks. So we're proud that we could be part of that. I'd be remiss if I didn't thank the employees of the Bank of Dudley. We have lived through some noise and some dust and moving offices and working in spaces we were not normally used to working in, and packing up our offices and then repacking them and unpacking them and doing it again. So I thank all of our employees. I'm going to say a special thanks to Josh Cruz, Elizabeth Hodgers, our COO, Lori Norton, our CFO, Jeremy Bell and Dustin Underwood. They did a lot of hooking computers up and taking computers back down. These other people I just mentioned, Josh handled a lot of the security and a lot of just the day-to-day things that he took off of me and I didn't have to answer. And I think he and Bubba and Chris had a hotline on the email and the text. Thank you, Josh. Vicki Thompson had a lot to do with this too. I told her I was just going to call on her to speak, and she's shaking her head back there like she's going to kill me. But Vicki bore a lot of the brunt of this too. Vicki's my administrative assistant, and she learned that when I said, Vicki, can you get so-and-so on the phone for me? And it was, not in a hurry, just in the next 5 minutes. She read through all those, and she helped me a lot with this too. One more group I want to mention before we have the draw. My family's been very supportive, and I think all of my sisters are here, some of my brother-in-laws, my wife, and my 93-year-old mother sitting right here in front. So I appreciate that. My wife bore some of the brunt of some of the stress that this renovation brought on. So at this time, and my sister, Susan Weatherington, will be playing the piano over in the Thompson building with some Christmas music as we enjoy the refreshments, and y'all will be able to tour the normal non-public area upstairs and downstairs, see operations and see where it all happens. So at this time, we'll have a drawing for this is something we always do at the downtown coffee break. I can draw because I do not have a dog in this fight. If you had one of the blue coupons, 680008. Ben Knight. Ben.
Thank you.
I hope you enjoyed it. It's all Bank of Dudley stuff. All right. At this time, we would like as many as we could. The chamber, if you will, we'll get right here on the corner outside. We'll cut the ribbon. If somebody would like to go ahead and start touring the facility, some of our folks will go back. The serving line is back through in the